So here is my finished wallpaper. Um, I guess because I've been doing a bit of studying French lately that it's really inspired my design. Plus, I really always wanted to go to Paris. I guess what I really wanted to do with this wallpaper was to create it whereas if, say, like a person went and visited Paris and spent like the entire day looking at all um, these different not artifacts, well, all of these different attractions, and they come back to their hotel room and they may have like a sip of wine, maybe a bit of dinner. Well, I hope you have a bit of dinner, but just I wanted to capture maybe what might be going through their mind as they're envisioning what they saw, all those attractions. So that's why I really wanted to create like this collage effect. And well, when I think of Paris, I think of the Eiffel Tower initially. So that's why I created. Well, I wanted to use this Eiffel Tower as the. I wanted to use the Eiffel Tower as the base image for my piece, and then add a few other attractions in, like like I wanted to add the Pont d'Alexander the Third, the bridge here, the Louvre, and the Arc de Triomphe. Initially, I had used a different Arc de Triomphe to me, but it was a little bit too tall, and it was a lot. It was very disproportionate to the Eiffel Tower, and being that the Eiffel Tower is kind of like the focal point of the piece, I really didn't feel like this went paired well together. So that's why I kind of changed it to this one. And I also wanted all of the pieces to kind of blend well together. And initially, I wanted to make it seem like the piece was going from day to night, kind of like if this, kind of as if someone had spent the entire day looking throughout everything. And my second try at least trying to achieve this 9-day piece, it didn't really turn out very well. I used like the pin light blending modes for all of the elements, and then I tried to cut like the base layer into two pieces and make one piece darker and then one piece like lightened with the blending modes, and then kind of merge them together. But then that kind of left this whole line here, and as you can see, like even the railing isn't very visible, like especially the glasses. So the pin lighting wasn't the best choice for me, and I really wanted it kind of to look kind of the same as if someone had just walked out on the balcony of their hotel and they were seeing all of this for Paris. Kind of as if I want it to seem, well, I wanted it to seem like if someone had just walked out onto their hotel balcony and was just envisioning everything they had just seen. I kind of want it to look like that. So what I did was I used the base layer, and then because I erased parts of it where I just needed it to be like darker on one side, right? But then I copied it and I applied like a darker blend where it makes the side darker, and then I erased on the left so it's that's lighter, and I did another layer just to make the side darker. Because also I really wanted, because I wanted the Eiffel Tower to be the focal point, I thought it'd be really cool also if it had like the lights in it, and that's kind of how it looks when it's at night. And so I also kind of wanted to transition it from day, so I kind of wanted the transition to be kind of around there. So that's why I really like how it kind of blends there softly. And I also wanted all the elements to kind of pair well with each other, kind of balance each other out a bit. So I really liked how the lights in the Eiffel Tower balanced with like the building next to the Louvre. And then I also wanted to add like a little bit of a glow on the girl, as if the lights from the Eiffel Tower is kind of like reflecting onto her. But that was actually really interesting because I had clipped the girl out of the store she was in. And erased around it, I couldn't actually highlight the area off of the girl. So I needed to actually copy a segment of the background paper and then copy as a layer underneath the girl, just so that I could add like that extra layer. And I used like a channel mixer and a hue saturation to make it just the right color. But then I also added like a little saturation on the girl, just so that like her jacket here kind of pops a little bit, and maybe that her hair is a little tinted at the top. I just like, I guess like it's like the little details really. But I also kind of liked how, being that this is kind of like the second tallest element the arc is here, I wanted it to kind of pair well with the table over here with the same kind of colors, and then also the pink tinge of the louvre, the louvre with the bridge. So I kind of wanted to have like different angles, I guess, but also because I kind of like the tint, the reddish tint in the whole between this piece and the louvre here. But the rest of the image didn't have that color, so I added like a tint to all of the pieces, and I think it just makes it pop, and it doesn't make the wallpaper as flat looking. But as you can see, I used like a lot of different layers, like for the arc of the triumph, I have the initial layer, but then I erased part of that, and then I would keep adding layers with different blending modes. Like this one is with the multiply blending mode, and it just adds like a little bit of depth right here. And then I had a couple different lightning blending modes. So I just noticed that my little camera feed here cut out, so I hope I caught that in time. But I was saying that I hadn't noticed when I used the arc here that initially it had like this the security camera here. So that was a lot of fun because I got to use the clone stamp tool and kind of like try to hide it a bit. Oh, that's another lightning thing. Yeah, I guess I also had a little darker, I also had like a bit of a dark element just to add like a little bit of contrast here. So there's a lot of different blending modes here. And well, I guess besides all the layers I did here, I also used a few tools. Like I mentioned, I used a clone stamp tool to get rid of the security camera, and then I used the sharpen tool to add like a little bit of I wanted to make the ends of the bridge here, the very furthest part, still pop, even though it's kind of far away. I used like the multiply blending mode, and then I would kind of put that over the bridge, and then I would just I used the paintbrush, but somehow I painted like the multiply blending mode, but with like 70% opacity, and then I was able to paint over the pieces. But then I also would reverse that, and then I would erase it and make it look as if the clouds are kind of over the bridge. And then I would, because whenever I do that, I would also like cover up the lights a bit, so I need to go in and touch in on that. It was a good like hour or two of just really fine details of trying to get all the clouds and everything just right, so where it looked like it was in the distance, and it was like kind of like you're remembering it, but also that you can kind of still see what it is. But I used the sharpen tool at the edge here, and then I also used the blur tool on the girl to add like a little bit of effect. And then I know I changed the table here slightly with a different color. I did. I used a table vibrance here just because it made it like a little too orangey, and I didn't really like that too much. So I thought that like paired better with this. So this area was a lot of fun, and it took a lot of time just because I had selected this part out of it, and then and then I would like use the layer mask, and then I would like paint over all of these little details, and then including like inside the wine glasses here, because I wasn't sure how that was going to turn out, but it actually was decently okay. I mean, you can't really see here, but in this version, because it's kind of dark, or in this one's like a little too light, but you can see like the background behind it, which I was really happy about. But this was kind of like the finishing touch for me, because by just touching up the wine glasses, I added like the wine, and I guess it was kind of like also like a secondary focal point where I kind of want it to be like, maybe that's where the day ends, you know, maybe you have like a bit of wine after just enjoying the scenery or something. But this was also a lot of interesting for me because I used the initially because I erased the inside of the wine glasses, um, and then you can see the background through. I couldn't actually select the whole area here and then paint over it. I had to select the glass part and then I would select the background behind it, but then I would use the content aware fill tool and like fill it with like a burgundy kind of color. But because I did it separately, there was always this line in between it, and it just didn't look very legit. So I actually found this cool image of of wine glasses with the same perspective, and I copied it, and then I didn't. Well, it looked like when I put it in here that there was like fingerprints on the glass, and I guess that's really just like the reflection of something on the table. But I was able to use the spot healing brush to really to get rid of those little details, and I feel like it's kind of like, well, it looks really cool. So I'm really happy with how this came out. And I think the text, I used two different fonts. I forget which one this is, but I really like the color and like the simple, like, it's not too straight, but it's also kind of like elegant, I guess you could say. And it kind of blends into the clouds. And then I like the quote I use. I like how the white part like kind of balances with the tips of the glasses here. And well, I guess the quote is like "La vie est belle," which means life is beautiful. So then I really kind of like wanted to pair it with like the beauty of France because it just seemed like so beautiful. So then of course, being that it's Paris, why not use like a French saying, I guess. So yeah, I feel like there was like I like the changes I made. There was like I really like the improvement. This was like the first part, and then I really like how it doesn't seem so flat and the contrast isn't so stark, and you can actually see everything. So I really like the final wallpaper. So yeah, I hope you found this interesting. I probably talked a lot more than I anticipated, but yes, thank you. Bye.